Hello, everyone out in our ASEA family. Chuck and Jeremy and I wanted to take a minute and just reach out to all of you at this unique time. We felt like it was important to share just an update on some things and where we are as an organization. I want to start by just expressing our concern and sending our hearts out to anyone that's been affected by COVID-19 around the world. We know it's affecting a great number of people, and there are people in our ASEA family being affected, and our hearts go out to them first and foremost. As you guys know, we're operating in 33 countries around the world, and we're monitoring very closely on a daily basis what's happening in these markets to make sure that we're responsive to government input and what they're asking us to do to help slow the spread of this virus. And so we want you to know that we'll be paying very close attention to their guidelines and recommendations and making sure that we're complying with those in the markets where each of you may find yourselves. I mean, our top concern and priority, as you might imagine, is your health and the health and safety of you and your families, as well as all of our employees here at ASEA. We've spent a lot of time concerning ourselves about them, and we encourage all of you to take very seriously those guidelines and recommendations in your markets, and let's do all that we can to stay safe and healthy during this difficult time. We feel strongly that we have a social responsibility, as you can imagine, as we are in world, really global corporate citizens, and we want to make sure that we're doing our part to slow the spread of this virus and prevent it from reaching particularly high-risk demographics, but virtually anywhere. And as a result, we've chosen, as you know, to cancel our North America Envision event, which was to be held in Dallas later this month. We've also canceled our ASEA Ascent event for EU in Dubrovnik, Croatia, and then subsequently also our Rome, Italy event. Italy, of course, where the virus has hit really hard, so we're sensitive to our friends in Italy. We felt it right to cancel those. In addition, Jeremy, we've canceled the Taiwan second anniversary event in Asia.
Several events in Asia.
Yeah, and the Hong Kong grand opening. We've got a new office being built out there, and we've decided to go ahead and cancel that grand opening. Those will actually be postponed to later in the year, but we just felt it the right thing to do as it relates to our corporate responsibility in the world at this particular time. You might imagine us asking you this. Please avoid any large gatherings of your teams, of course. We need to do all that we can right now to play our part. This is a highly communicable disease as we're learning more about it, and we just feel that we want to see it to be an organization that's doing all that we can to slow the spread and prevent it, rather than play a role in potentially passing it one to another. So with that, let's do no large gatherings. Please discourage that. And let's take full advantage of technology at this time. What a blessing to be able to use technology platforms to speak. And let's do that and do our best part to not spread this further. I know Chuck and Jeremy want to share some remarks as well. I just want to say how thankful we are for all of you. We want you to know that things are going well here despite these difficult circumstances. And Chuck and Jeremy will share some insights with that, and then I'll close with a few remarks. So Chuck, do you want to take a minute and share some thoughts as well with the group?
Absolutely. Thanks, Tyler. And as Tyler mentioned, of course, our thoughts and concerns are with each and every one of you at this really unprecedented time in our history, or certainly in our lifetimes. We've heard a lot in the media about this concept of social distancing. And I think maybe a more accurate term for that would be physical distancing, because I think right now at this given time, sociality and socializing with others people is more important than ever, particularly as people find themselves restricted to certain activities, may find themselves confined to their homes or other places, and certainly as their routines have been disrupted, we still need to stay in contact with each other. So while we may need to distance ourselves physically, we don't need to distance ourselves socially. And as Tyler mentioned, technology gives us a remarkable ability to do that. And when it comes to socializing via technology, no one does that better than an ASEA associate.
Right.
So please keep doing that. Keep reaching out to your teams. As Tyler mentioned, we do ask that you do comply with all local recommendations or requirements for groups and the size of groups that can meet. Every country, every jurisdiction has different rules on that right now, so we do ask you to abide by those. Just to give you an update on the state of the business, we find ourselves in a very fortunate situation in that as it relates to our Redox platform, we completely control the supply chain on that product. We are not dependent on resources. We're not dependent on any ingredients from outside of the United States. All of our manufacturers that we rely on for the manufacturing of our product are still up and running, and we do have safety stock, so our production crew continues to run. We are asking some more at-risk individuals to not come into work, but I just got off the phone a few minutes ago with Scott Aldred, and all systems are go as it relates to our manufacturing, and we do not anticipate any disruptions in that particular aspect of the supply chain. Friday, we did give the optionality to all of the ASEA employees to work from home if that suited their circumstances. Certainly, if they're not feeling well, we've asked anybody who is exhibiting any symptoms of the coronavirus to please do not come into work and to self-quarantine for 14 days. But long before this situation ever occurred, we had set up the ability for the vast majority of our employees to be able to fully function and operate from their homes. Many have chosen to do so at this time, so you should not really experience any disruptions in your associate support experience, certainly in your payment of your commissions. One thing that we do need to be cognizant of is that there may be some disruptions in the delivery of your product. That's just a reality that is happening. We saw that in northern Italy just recently. We're seeing that right now in some different will call centers around the world. So please understand that as businesses and governments in different places in the world have to make decisions, that is going to probably have an impact on how fast you get your product. Our logistics team is very aware of that. They're tracking any disruptions, and if anything gets to a place to where delivery is cut off or ceased, you will certainly be notified of that. But just know that we're dealing with a situation that we've never dealt with before, and we're doing our absolute best to try to get everyone through it as quickly as possible and as smoothly as possible. But that's just simply a reality that we're going to have to deal with. You know, as Tyler mentioned, we operate in 33 countries. And every country is dealing with this in various levels and various degrees. And we just ask that you please take care of yourselves physically, take care of your families emotionally, and just make sure that you do everything that you can to lessen the impact of what's going on here. I also will tell you that from a financial standpoint, and Jeremy will talk more about this in just a minute, but from a financial standpoint, all of our financial assets are held in cash. So some people have wondered with the plunge in the stock market if that's putting us in any type of financial bind. It is not. The stock markets have absolutely zero impact on our financial stability. We find ourselves, ironically, given the difficulty that many other businesses are facing right now, we find ourselves in a very good place, and we're very fortunate for that, and we realize that that's a result of your tremendous efforts. So be safe, be well. Know that we are monitoring this situation almost minute by minute. We're talking with every level of the company executives. We're talking to our field leaders to get a sense of what's happening. So we just want you to know that while we're going through difficult times, the company is in a very good place to be able to respond to those on a favorable basis. And with that, I'll turn it over to Jerem to share some additional thoughts with you.
Great to be with all of our associates around the globe. I just want to share a few thoughts with you. First of all, we're mindful, as these guys have said, we're super mindful of each of you, of your families, of the circumstances you may find yourself in during this difficult time where you are in our thoughts every single day. We are really, really mindful of what you're going through, and this is a difficult, challenging time. But we want to let you know that we're doing our absolute best to keep the business moving forward. We wish everybody well. We want you to stay safe. We want you to stay healthy. It's interesting because during a time like this where health is such a top priority for so many people, we feel extremely grateful that we have a redox technology that helps support and strengthen the immune system of the body. It's a big deal, and we are grateful for that, and we know you're grateful for that. During times of economic stress and difficult financial times, we are grateful that we have an opportunity for people all over the world to earn a supplemental income and be able to support them and their families, and we know many of you are doing that. That's a big deal, and we're grateful for that. As an organization, as Chuck mentioned, we're financially healthy, we're strong. We actually are growing despite what's happening right now. In fact, the last 2 weeks, we just had our largest 2 weeks in the company's history. Thanks to you and all that you're doing and the efforts that are going on around the globe, we continue to grow. And I think people are recognizing the impact that ASEA can have on their lives during difficult times. And I think that'll continue as we go forward. We're financially healthy as an organization. As Chuck mentioned, we have ample cash reserves. So we continue to have enough cash to be able to support and sustain the business. We have no long-term debt, so we don't have any financial obligations ongoing to credit holders during this difficult time. So we're confident, we're optimistic in the future of the organization. We believe that as we come out of this, this will pass. But as we come out of this challenging time, we're going to be stronger than ever as an organization, and that's largely a result of you. So I just want to wish everybody well, be safe, be healthy, take care of yourselves and your families. We continue to do our best for you, to support you across the globe, and we're grateful for all that you're doing.
Guys, listen, we thought it was wise to get some messaging out to you to let you know that things are well here in the company, and we want you to be careful, take care of yourselves out there in the field. I recently read a great thought that said, when you're going through a challenge, you can ask yourself a question, and that is, what does this challenge make possible? And it's an interesting way to think about this. We can open our mouths a little bit more about health and wellness and know that there's a receptive group listening now, which is an opportunity for us to continue to have an impact in the world. I read an interesting text message that was sent to me from a woman who was in Italy and who was describing the impact of being with her family in her home and how things that really don't matter much in life have kind of faded away, and now their dinners are longer, their lunches are longer, they're spending time talking and reconnecting with themselves. And so let's look at this through the lens of what does this make possible for us as an organization. I think this makes our mission more possible in terms of reaching more people who want to know about health and wellness, and certainly we can spend time with people we care about and reconnect with ourselves and with those people in a special way. So we are mindful and aware of the reality of the challenges, but wanted to reach out and let you know that things are good here. You can feel confident. You'll see some disruptions, to be sure. You'll see some things that will kind of be a little bit shifty as we go through this process. But all in all, and certainly in comparison with a lot of the folks we know in the marketplace around us, we're in a very solid footing as a company, and you can feel confident about that. So be careful out there. Let's stay healthy. Let's go out and do the best we can to help people. Let's use technology and help all those people out there that are struggling with this. But please know that you're on solid footing. Thanks, guys, and thanks for taking a minute with us.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.